Hello everybody, this is Altania Infinity. I'm here to show off a contraption I made. This allows you to recall different items by flicking certain levers, pushing a button, and in a moment, a minecart will come containing the item. This one has andesite. I'm going to go ahead and send this one back. It'll get put back in its place, and when I'm ready, there it is again. I can also use this to get other items, such as, for instance, I believe the unsmooth or polish andesite is one less than that. This is binary, by the way. I forget which order I did it in, but I'm pretty sure it's this way. So let's see what comes out of this. Yep, regular andesite. So this counts just as bits. This is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So with 3 bits, let's see what's in 7. Just regular stone. With 3 bits, it's possible to store 8 of these things. Okay. So as you can see, this is a contraption. It's not covered up at all. So basically what we have here is we have these 3 channels. These are the different bits that are being sent. And because of how this redstone stacks, I do have to invert the middle signal, and you'd have to invert every other signal like that. Anyway, so these get sent along here, and they just branch off to either side. And then the redstone stacks vertically. You can use other vertical stacking methods of redstone, but the point is right here, you want to get whether these bits are on or off. And here you can see we've got a torch and we got 2 repeaters. The repeaters are going to carry the signal through as it is coming, and the torch is going to carry an opposite version of that signal through. This then flips this torch, which represents that this is actually off. So if you remember, I had all of them off back there, and yet these 3 torches are on. So this one is off, but these 2 are on. The entire thing is ORed together, and then this turns us off. This is what determines whenever I push that button, that wooden button back there, it carries a signal through all these, raising the sand and allowing a redstone signal, if one is present, to go through, thus powering this. Whenever this comes over the detector, it raises up here. It's a monostable, or not a monostable, a single tick generator. That then alternates whether this redstone block is here or not. If it's here, it powers this redstone, which then alternates this track. And this is the important part, because if I pull a minecart from here, let's say this one, it's going to alternate this so that this is now facing in this direction. Whenever I send it back through, it's going to wind up here, go across this detector rail, which does the exact same thing. So yeah, it's not all too complicated, I don't think, but I'm going to go ahead and show how to build it. So first of all, I'm going to need colored wool, red, green, blue, and I am going to actually, this time around, first time I've done this, use 4 colors. So let's go ahead and start with this. Oops. This video may be long, I may cut out bits. as needed. Okay, so another thing to note is that for each bit that you have, this bit detection platform is going to have to be one bigger. So this is right now 3 wide. It's going to be 4 wide plus a gap. And that's just going to be helpful in counting this out. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4 gap. 1, 2, 2, 3, 4 gap. 3, 2, 3, 4 gap. 4, 2, 3, 4 gap. 5, 2, 3, 4 gap. 6, 2, 3, 4 gap. 7, 2, 3, 4 gap. 8, 2, 3, 4 gap. I do not like the rain. So I'm going to go ahead and finish with these rows. Okay, so this is the wiring as I have it set up. I know it looks a little bit complicated, but this is essentially what it is. Actually, I'll go to the top one to show you. The redstone line comes along. It branches off one down to the side so that it can negate this torch. You could just have torches on that side, but like I said, there are different methods for stacking it. You just want to stack the redstone signals up. I was a little bit careless with the repeaters, but I'm in creative mode. I have an infinite amount of them as a result. When I just repeated this process on down here, as you can see, the redstone signal goes down, negates this torch, negates it, negates it, negates it, it climbs. Using this method, however, causes the torches to be every other one. And I don't want that. I want them all to be on in the end, which means I need to negate the yellow and the green. But I'll do that later. That will be the interface with the thingy you sit on. So the next step, no longer involving these wires, we're going to be setting up some... Where are you? Those are monster eggs. Here's where we're going to be setting up some of the detection circuits. Now, I do not know why I got rid of them. I will need some of that, and I will also need some torches and some dust. So, what we're going to be having is something like this. Let me demonstrate this principle for you. The way this works is this is on if any one of these is on. You can see that these three are on. If I had these three off, it would work. If I had this off, it will work. However, if I have these two on and these two off, this signal goes away, and then I can use this to determine that. I can say, hey, I have in order... Why did you start raining? Let's wait for the rain to go away. I can say I have in order on, off, off. Any other combination will turn that torch off. So that's how this works. And I'm essentially going to be using that to detect which combination is being sent out on the main. So for instance, I might have something like this. Yeah, let's actually do this. And this would detect a different combination. This is only on whenever the first one is on and the other three are off, as opposed to this. Any other combination results in this being off. So I'm going to be following the same principle. I'm going to go ahead and make all those platforms, and I'll show you them. Alright, so I made a bit of a mistake. I actually want, on these top rows, I want these torches on the side here. It's just for compactness sake. You can easily work with it otherwise, but just for compactness sake, that's how I did it over there, and I'd forgotten that's what I did. By the way, there's a boat from my LP. Anyway, so this next part is arranging all the different possibilities. As you saw with 4 bits, I put down 8 on this side and 8 on this side. That's because 2 to the 4 equals 16. There are 16 possible combinations. With 3 bits, there are 8 possible combinations. 2 to the third is 8. Okay, so doesn't matter. I just got to alternate between these two in a pattern. So I'm going to follow a bit pattern. I'm going to go torch, 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 blank, torch, torch, blank, torch, 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 blank, blank, torch, blank, torch, 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 blank, torch, blank, torch, blank, blank, torch, and torch, blank, blank, blank. And in these blanks, I'm going to fill these out. Now you could make all this one row, but considering you can do this whole vertical stacking thing, you can make this symmetrical to save on space and the distance wise. So, a helpful way of doing this is just to flip the pattern on the other side. So for example, this will be, let me go high enough, repeater, 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 and then this is mirrored as well, which is repeater, 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 blank for now. Repeater, repeater, blank, repeater, 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 blank, blank, repeater, blank, repeater, 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 blank, repeater, blank, repeater, blank, blank, repeater, and repeater, blank, blank, blank. And these blanks are then going to be filled in with torches. And you could do it opposite if you want. So long as you cover every possible combination. Okay, so now that that's done, you're going to lay the redstone dust along like this. And come on over to the other side. You notice how all of those had the redstone dust lit up. There's only going to be one, this one, which does not, based upon the current configuration of those data wires, which I have not yet inverted the ones I need to invert. I will do that later. So what this means is I can detect which one's supposed to be on simply by placing a redstone torch like so. That redstone torch is the only one that is on. Now you'll notice I'm doing it favoring this end. That's just for simplicity's sake. Just to make sure everything is consistent. You'll see why later. Anyway, so the next thing I gotta do is build the rail system. I'll go ahead and do a little bit of that off camera. Okay, so I have a bit of the track done right about now. I did want to show this off first. So this mechanism is what allows the signal that it properly detects to go through. There'll be a redstone line down here later that'll push this piston up and push this sand block up, which will allow a redstone signal, if it's coming through, to pass through to this repeater, thus powering this rail. This block is here just so it has something to push off against. These detector rails, this goes power, blank, or power, normal, detector, normal, normal. These detector rails are used for whenever the minecart leaves the garage so that the track up here, as you saw earlier, can point in the right direction and not send another cart on its way. These powered rails are just to help give it a boost. Again, you can be more frugal with that if you want. And the exact same pattern is repeated over on this end. So now I'm going to get some more work done on the rails, and I'll show off how that works. By the way, observe this. If this has been raised here, it would go through, and that's what I mean by doing this. By doing this, you can set the variable, by the way, and it will not actually release a card unless you tell it to, which is what this redstone line will be for. Anyway, like I said, I'm going to get some more work done. Okay, so this part is pretty tricky. Right here, I want this to curve around here. Now, I could have gone out an extra block, I could have done that. But there's another way you can do this. Destroy this, place this, and they'll link up. Then destroy this, and place this, and it'll go the proper direction. Anyway, so I have these just about done. Actually, I do have it pretty much done, except for the end. Now all I have left to do is hook up the switching mechanism and the mechanisms for all of them, and the garage will be complete. Then I got to work on the interface area and the signaling line. So not that much left to do. Oh yeah, before I forget, these detector rails, I put them here. This is just for compactness. You can put them other places. You'll see what I mean here in a moment. Okay, so I had a bit of an error with how I had this laid out before, so let me try this again. It's important to note that whether you do this north or south or east to west, you're going to run into this problem. One side is going to be automatically pointing inwards, and the other side, if you follow the track, is not. So you're going to have to decide which way you want the cart to go whenever you're loading it into an empty garage. I want to go counterclockwise, so this right side is fine for me. What I need to do, however, is do that. Now notice, this is being powered, and now this, whenever you're coming around this way, feeds into an empty garage, and then it'll go the other direction, and then this will feed into an empty garage, etc., etc. So this is what we want. Okay? So the next step, however, is to make the wiring from these to here. So the first thing we're going to want to do is have a single tick pulse, and it's going to come up here, and it's going to come from both here and here. So I'll go ahead and get that completed on all 16 of these, and I'll get back to you. Okay, so I have this done. This is what it is. This detector rail sends a signal up to here, and this detector rail sends a signal up there as well. Either way, a repeater gets a signal and powers this. As soon as this happens, this piston pushes up, and a signal gets through here just momentarily, because as soon as this is pushed up, there's nothing left to carry signal through, and this shuts off, thus generating a 1-tick redstone pulse, which will just briefly power this. I'm sorry, will not briefly power this. It'll briefly power this, which will push this redstone block here and leave it here, and the sticky piston will retract it when that happens again, thus alternating these states. Okay, so I just have this pattern repeated. Look again, it comes off to the side, it climbs up, it comes to this, which does all that. Now, I just have to create the interface, so I'll go ahead and get working on that. Okay, so I think I got it all figured out. You're going to be here with me when I test it. Let's put in some white stained clay, send it on its way. Let's watch it. So it comes up here. Good. It fell down there, and this changed. So, when we put another one on there, should go up. There we go. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and load 6 more. You're on your way. 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 And you're on your way. Past, 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 in. Alright. Now let's load it up with 8 other materials. Let's say the other side can be wool. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Let's make sure this behaves properly. Past, 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 in. Perfect. Let's go ahead and send the rest of them that way, make sure. Almost sent it on its way without anything. Let's observe. This one goes in here. And on this one... Awesome. So they're all loaded up properly. We got that clay. I can't see. Okay, that clay. That clay. Awesome. So now I should be able to retrieve it. One thing I forgot to do that theoretically shouldn't be too necessary is to have this loop around. I want it so that if there's not enough room, it gets sent back here. So I'm just going to get some powered rails and some regular rails. And then a lever. So if I just have something that doesn't have anything in it, and all of these are filled, it should properly go all the way through. Where it should come back. Alright. So now let's say I wanted to get something out. Now remember how I said this is counting, like in bits. Currently, this is on, and this is 0. So it looks like this is going to be counting 0, 1, 2, all the way down the line, and it'll come back around this way, so clockwise, and this will be 15. So, if I wanted to get item number 7, for example, I could do... Well, I guess that would be 7, yeah, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... No, this is 7. So this is item number 7, which should get 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Just to look which one's on, which one's not. None of them are... Huh, this one's on. That's odd. Did I count them wrong? I may have counted them wrong. Let's try this way. I think you should be this one over here at the end. Yeah, okay. So I just got to count from the other direction. Which is fine. You can easily invert the signal. And by invert, I mean like swap. So this will get item number 7, which is that one you saw at the end. You know what? Silly me, I forgot to do one thing. I forgot to get this going. So I do apologize, but I'll be back one more time. Okay, so now I should have everything. Again, I have 7, which should get the one at the far end. You can kind of see the torch slit in the background. This button right here shall retrieve it. And you'll notice, by the way, that once this came out of there, this passageway opened up again. So, I missed. If I send this white wool back on its way, it gets put back where it was. Just be careful not to retrieve anything that is still in there when there's a minecart over here. because otherwise, if the thing you're retrieving is earlier on and you go to put the first one back, it'll get swapped around. So there is some additional redstone logic you can do with pressing this button, put in a different place, won't power the, well, it, or pressing this will first check to make sure that this is all done, and things like that. You can do stuff like that. Anyway, so this is a pretty long tutorial on a minecart garage concept. You can of course cover this stuff up and decorate it, and you can extend this pattern. You'll just have to add more of these, and each time you add an additional bit, you double the amount of storage space you can have. You could have this garage have multiple levels, so multiple drop-off points, and pressing this button will activate multiple powered rails, so you can have multiple carts in along the same garage and just cycle through them. But yeah, anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial video. I hope somebody can find it useful. I might try building this in my LP to store wool and clay, because 16 storage containers does fulfill all of the colors. Well, no, I guess there's 2 additional ones, but it fills all the colored ones, not just the white and hardened. But it definitely does fit all the wool. So I may do something like that. It may be a while though before I do something like that. Anyway, thanks for watching.